And we're back. Thank you so much for sticking with me. And if you're first joining us, this is Marcy's World. I'm Dr. Nancy Iankowitz, your host on 103.7 FM WPWL Pulling Public Radio. We left off talking about makeup and sensitivities and soy and when to throw out makeup, the liquid makeup. And what was that question that you had over the break?
I just wanted to understand, I'm sorry.
Get closer to that. This one, yeah.
I just wanted to understand why one would have to why you're advising the throwing out of makeup after 6 months.
Thank you. Yes, liquid makeup, particularly liquid eye makeup, may carry with it some viruses and bacteria that have a chance to reproduce in the warm, moist environment when you put the brush back into that container. And if you haven't used out that makeup within a 6-month period, it's probably a good idea to get rid of it. If you noticed within a week of having used a particular makeup that you have a chalazion on your eye or any of those pimples on the eye or the lash line or irritation in the eye that is diagnosed as conjunctivitis, sorry about all that expensive stuff, but you have to throw out anything that came in contact with your eyes or even your face. Don't throw out your hat, but I mean any makeup that touched that eye, because you will have created an environment of reproduction for that particular organism in the liquid makeup, okay? Does that get you? Yeah? Okay. I'm just saying.
Okay.
It's good practice. So I embrace an eclectic approach to wellness. As a functional medicine provider, I draw on Eastern and Western wisdom. So as I suggested earlier in this program, according to Chinese medicine, each season is associated with an organ system within the body. I indicated the kidney is what's associated with winter. So, according to Chinese medicine. So this Eastern approach to healing focuses on meridians, M-E-R-I-D-I-A-N-S. Feel free to look that up. So first, what is a meridian? And second, why is it important to know about a meridian? In acupuncture and Chinese medicine, a meridian is a superhighway that takes messages all over the body. And along each of a set of pathways in the body, vital energy is said to flow. And there are 12 such pathways associated with specific organs. And why is this important? Understanding the feet and the kidney, we look to meridians which run through the feet. And these meridians help us understand why certain areas of our feet that feel sore benefit from massage, and our organs can benefit as well, particularly the kidney, with certain spots on the feet, which I will tell you about in a second. So, why is it important to know about meridians? Because when we know the particular points, acupuncture or acupressure, we can have a therapeutic intervention from a professional, or even we can have a friend, family member, or our own selves activate the points that can help heal us internally. So we can help ourselves through massage, which triggers organ systems. Now the kidney meridian has 27 acupuncture points throughout the body, and several are on the foot and around the ankle, on the soft part between the ankle and the heel. Also in the arch of the foot, and also one on the ball of the foot between the great toe and the toe next to it towards the ball of the foot. So, you think about the value of foot massage and why that makes you feel good. It's good on multiple levels for different people. But some patients have asked me about foot massage machines. You can injure yourself if you choose a machine that's not right for you. And you know what's right for you by what feels good. That's what's so excellent about this. If it hurts, it's wrong. If it's a good kind of pressure that is not really pain, but it's a little bit uncomfortable, but then triggers a comfortable feeling, then that's right. You're the best one to know that. And the reason why I gear people away from foot massage machines is because it's better to have a human who can respond to your saying, oh, right there, oh, a little to the left. That is optimal. You should believe your feet when they say ouch, and this goes for choosing socks. This goes for choosing shoes, ways in which you choose to walk, soles, arch supports, everything. Your feet are very informative. And if you're interested in learning more about what Chinese medicine teaches about the feet and kidney health, Google feet, kidneys, KIDNEYS, and TCM for traditional Chinese medicine, TCM. Or you can go to my Facebook page, Holistic and Integrative Healing, because I have lots of stuff there for you. You can learn about the value of excellent foot care and which spots to massage to improve your health throughout the winter. And if any of these recommendations fail to give you the results that make sense to you or work, write to me at driankowitz@yahoo.com, DRIANKOWITZ@yahoo.com, and write in the subject line, Marcy's World Kidneys, or Marcy's World Traditional Chinese Medicine, and I'll get right back to you. And also, as a reminder, feel free to call in with questions right now, 845-493-0355, or go to WPWL 103.7 FM Facebook page, which is actually facebook.com/Pauling Public Radio. And you can message in your thoughts or questions or comments. So you're the owner of your small business called your body. Your brain's the CEO. It communicates through whispers and shouts. So we're going to talk about what that means and how you can use the information to balance your mind, body, and spirit throughout 2018 and beyond. We're going to take a very short break. You're listening, 103.7 FM, Pauling Public Radio. It's Marcy's World. I'm your host, Dr. Nancy Iankowitz, and when we come back, we'll talk about whispers and shouts of the CEO of your body, your brain. It's okay, goodness. Yes. Okay. Can we make this a very short break? Because I have some information to give. What threw me off before was I actually took a break 2 lines before the break I had scheduled for myself, so I should have just whispers and shouts. What does that mean? How does it whisper? Your brain whispers to you through mood, feelings, and emotions. How does it shout? It shouts through body systems. And what's an example of a shout? Physical illness, gastroesophageal reflux, body aches. So, as I said, whispers come in the form of attitudes and moods. And these come from anger, frustration, sadness, and sometimes fear and anxiety. There are times when we know exactly why we feel a particular way. So if a family pet just passed on, we feel sad and we pretty much know what triggered the feeling of sadness. But what about when we experience one or more of these negative, unhappy emotions? We can't quite put our finger on exactly what triggered it. If we permit ourselves to experience the whisper without addressing it, but we just distract ourselves somehow. If we don't address it at the emotional trigger, the brain, your CEO, needs to shout, and does this through body systems. Shouts come in the form of high blood pressure, pounding heart, high cholesterol, chronic backache, tension headaches, stomach issues, diarrhea, constipation, gas, on and on. Now again, if you know the trigger and you handle it appropriately, you're all set. If you have poor posture, for example, at the computer and you have a backache, you fix your posture, you can go to the chiropractor, take some pills, or take some liquid, you fix your posture and you take and you're fine. Or if your stomach bothers you and you know you just ate something that made everybody else sick too, okay, you know, that's something you need to go to the doctor for. Or if you're sensitive to a particular food, you say, I just love this food, I'm going to eat it even though it's going to give me gas. You pretty much know what triggered that response. But what happens if we're doing everything right, we're sitting up straight, we're eating the right foods, we go to yoga class, whatever it is, you're doing everything right, and yet you still have the shout. Well, that would mean that you're missing the signals, and you do that by distraction. You may do it on purpose or by accident. You might not even realize you're doing this to yourself. So what we're discussing here are the physical signals that are unable to be successfully addressed by any of the common sense interventions. So if you feel your symptoms aren't adequately addressed by the conventional recommendations and interventions, you may feel that you're falling through the cracks of wellness, and that can be scary. But there's help available. As a matter of fact, you can learn more about how to pick up on the communication of your CEO, your brain, by joining me. For lots more information, I'm going to do a presentation at the Pauling Free Library on January 16th between 7 and 8 p.m. You need to call the library in advance because space is limited. Their phone number is 845-855-3444. It's free, and you're all welcome to call and see if you can come in. I'll be discussing the whispers and the shouts and how we help people who are falling through the cracks. And before I let you go, there are some questions and comments from people in the studio. So what was that? Yes, Dr. Cohen.
Yeah, you mentioned the meridians with reference to reflexology, massage, yoga. All of those address the meridian issue.
Yes.
There was a time that those were looked at scant. Now it's much more acceptable. You also mentioned that with reference to the upcoming presentation that you'll be making at the library, that CEO communication would be the focus, and there you would be dealing, I'm assuming, with meditation and centering.
Well, you credited me with mentioning reflexology, which I think I neglected to mention, so that was a very good hint, that reflexology is a way of addressing meridians, particularly through the foot, and there are foot charts for reflexology that you can tap into on the internet. You said something about an expectation regarding the presentation and meditation. What I do plan to do is teach about breathing, which anybody who has listened to this broadcast before, or any of my patients already know about breathing techniques. There are particular counting rhythms, holding and exchange time at the respiratory system that are important for tapping into the healing and boosting of the immune system. Meditation per se, no. We're not going to do any kind of meditation at that presentation. It'll be strictly informational and interactive. I love doing interactive stuff. Anything else you wanted to? Yeah.
Just a question, if I may. This goes back to your original discussion with Marcy and Nikki and Marcy and Grandpa. Would that be okay to go back?
Sure.
With reference to Marcy and Nikki, you mentioned adoption, and you showed in your story how the interpretation of the adoption is key, that it can be looked at positively, and it can be a very enhancing and fulfilling experience. But there are those who sometimes look at adoption somehow negatively, and that puts a whole different cast on it.
Well, if somebody, did you want to say something about that? Because I have something to say about what you just said.
No, please.
If somebody is coming from a bias that blood and DNA is what unites people, then somebody with that particular bias may have less of a positive feeling about adoption regarding children. They may be able to adopt a pet or, people through the mail, but they don't, in terms of supporting children who are in another country. But in terms of family adoption, those people who have that particular bias have a difficult time calling anybody family who is not blood or DNA. It's my hope that as we become more and more educated, we understand that family is family. And there are many different views on this. Feel free to disagree with me. We're at a time So I won't be able to explore that any further with you, but please feel free to send me your questions at dranklitz@yahoo.com or on my Facebook page. You've been listening to 103.7 FM Pauling Public Radio, WPWL. This is Marcy's World, and I am your host, Dr. Nancy Yankwitz. Thank you so much for tuning in. I wish you a happy 2018 and beyond. Stay tuned for the next broadcast intermission with host Christine Bexley. Bye-bye for now. Thank you, because I was double checking that because I didn't know if she was actually.
Original computer.
Thank you.
I'm the one who told you that.
Okay.
But thank you for, okay.